You're listening to District of Dreams, a Changeling the Dreaming actual play by Hallowed Haven Studios. Previously on District of Dreams, with Crook finally awoken from his trapped slumber, the motley sit down and go over what it is we are here for. Obviously, we came for the Lady Kiera, but in our turmoil we have lost our way, and with the dreaming being unpredictable, we cannot operate the same way as we do outside. Regardless, we continue forward to the lake from our vision, and once we reach it, we meet another, more specifically, a lady of the lake. She offers her assistance, and she informs us of tasks that we must undertake before we can continue our search. And as we follow her into the depths of the lake, she warns us that we must conquer our fears and remember we are a motley. For Elodie, a lifeline is made of many fibers as she struggles against the shadows of the waves. But soon, through our own challenges, we bring her back to us. Strength alone is a cage without the key of trust for Crook. We proclaim that he is trusted, even if he is the bad man to be feared, and our red cap changes courts. In mine, memory lives in all, as my motley share stories of me, and I remember as long as someone is alive to remember the history, it can always be passed down. For Georgina, one must not be defined by what they have or have not, as our coat is taken, and we force her to remember it is not the coat that makes her who she is, and she has the coat because of who she is. And with that realized, the coat is returned. And then our dear Rowan, when every voice cries for attention, it is the silence that reveals the truth. He believes only his work can help us through our chrysalis, and yet he is reminded it is he himself who does the work, and his stories are simply a tool. And when we find ourselves, we are brought to the middle of the trees seen before, The lake soaked into the ground and all of our challenges melted away. And it is there that dear Elodie catches a glint out of the corner of her eye and sees a gnarled tree.
Hello, I'm Bookkeeper, and I'm playing Sir Crook, the Seelie Wilder Redcap.
Hi, I'm Hannah Marie. I'm playing Elodie Blight, the Clara Changeling. Her pronouns are she, her. My pronouns are she, they.
I'm Clara Allison, and I play Georgina Byrne, a Selkie Wilder. My pronouns are she, they, and her pronouns are she, her.
Hello, I'm Rob Davies. I will be playing Rowan Parsons, a Boggin Grump. Both their pronouns are he, him.
Hello, my name is Madam Ava. I play Sigrun Spellman, a Slua Grump, and we both use she, her pronouns.
And I'm Bloodied Porcelain. I will be your storyteller for the evening. It has been brought to my attention that we accidentally played the wrong recap for you. I apologize that you had to listen to the last recap that Sigrun did again. We'll fix it in post, I promise. Our motley were collected at the Parliament of Dreams. Crook had just talked to a member of House Leannan to try and figure out what's going on. Maybe get a little bit caught up and try to get his finger on the pulse of all of the chaos that has happened since the High King's murder. And I believe we left off after that conversation. So what are you guys doing, players? Don't everybody talk at once.
If Georgie's going to the archives, Sigrun will probably tag along with her.
Come along. You'll probably be better at it than I will.
I will likely be sticking close with Elodie just because Elodie doesn't have that much experience in Parliament.
Because Elodie is a small child and needs to be babysat?
Also, it's my job.
I'm in my early 20s.
You're a childling. You're the changeling equivalent of a small child.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I am going to stick with Georgie unless I see Victus, and then I'm going to very subtly peel off because I'm sneaky.
Okay. Well, you are...
I'm not going to try to sneak away.
You know enough about Vigdis that Vigdis is unlikely to be anywhere near the archives.
I am a very responsible childling, and I can focus on a task that doesn't necessarily pertain to me for more than 10 minutes.
Okay,
I can do that.
If you want to go to the archive or to the archives with him, you absolutely can, but you don't have to. We can just do 2 different scenes. Is what I'm saying.
I just realized that I split the party an unreasonable amount.
Okay. So, you guys are headed for the archives. Crook, are you going with them?
Yes.
Okay. You all kind of bail on the main room of Parliament where you met up with Crook's a member of Crook's house, and head down a bunch of like labyrinthine corridors. Sigrun knows exactly where the archives are. I somehow doubt that most of the rest of you have been there. Maybe Rowan. But Sigrun knows exactly where they are. Being a Slua, this is kind of one of their happy places. The Slua, I mean. Down one hall, and then another, and you're kind of making a bunch of like unexplained turns and hard rights and hard lefts before you before you get to a pair of large, heavy oaken like double doors. They are intricately carved for intricately carved into these beautiful like vine work, almost filigreed vine works are carved into the wood. And the vines are wrapped around books and scrolls and things like that. And despite how large and how heavy they look, Sigrun kind of touches one of them, and they both swing open very quietly and smoothly at the merest touch of her fingertips. Within are rows and rows and rows of shelving that look built in almost, despite the fact that they're not up against walls. You can't really tell where the floor ends and the shelf begins. And most of them extend so far above your head that you struggle struggle to see beyond where the shadows start to tell just how tall the ceiling here is. Sigrun, with your ability to see in the dark, you can tell that they go up a good 10 plus feet above where people like kind of lose sight of them because it's so dark.
Well, welcome. Is there anything you're looking for in particular?
To be honest, I haven't really gotten past, we have a mystery on our hands, and this is probably the biggest repository of Fae knowledge we have access to.
That's fair enough. Well, if anything comes to mind, let me know. The way they catalog things is a bit different than a usual library.
No Dewey Decimal System?
I was just going to say that.
No, it is... Honestly, I don't know how to put it into words. It's not exactly that. But also is... It's odd. Just let me know.
It's possible the Dewey Decimal System is too banal for a place like this.
Yeah.
I never really understood the logic of the Dewey Decimal System to begin with.
There's not much.
Well, there's a
And
sort of
what?
logic, but it may be the place, but possibly not the time.
I guess we start with Arthur.
Oh yes, let's see if Arthurian legend has been removed from this repository as well.
Is that what everybody is doing, or are we breaking up to try and look for different things?
I'll look for mentions of the sword and history of kings. Like if anything like this has happened before, where it's such a deep mystery and no one has come forward to claim the throne. Dun dun dun.
So you're looking to see if anyone has ever not tried to claim the throne.
Yeah, if there's ever been like a political murder of this kind where there hasn't been an immediate rush for someone to either claim credit or to install someone other than the heir apparent on the throne.
Okay. Sigrun, since you have volunteered yourself to be the person who gets people to what they need and what they're looking for, how are we starting? Didn't think about that when you said just ask, huh?
Yeah, I thought it would make sense for her, but yeah, okay.
It does make perfect sense. I'm just asking, what are we looking for first?
I think we're going to go down the row that mainly pertains in... It's not history would make sense, but I think this is going to be more towards politics. So she'll guide Elodie towards the more politically inclined section, and then she'll also, after that, help Rowan get to the more history inclined section for the King Arthur stuff. Well, history, fantasy.
Okay. I'm going to nudge you a little bit rather than
Please.
going towards politics for you to send Elodie towards stories of stories around political history. Part of why things like the Dewey Decimal System don't work here, yes, it's absolutely too banal for this place. The other reason is because most of Changeling history, the parts that you guys have, weirdly enough, there isn't a lot of Changeling history that's known because so many of the Changelings went back to the Dreaming for a long time and nobody can really remember what happened during that time. So most Changeling history that you guys have that's actually like known is stuff that happened here in the Autumn World that's relatively recent in the grand scheme of what's considered recent. So you take Elodie to like recent political history and kind of have to warn her, hey, this is all written in like story format. So it may seem like it's just telling you a story, but there is history here.
All right. Do you read comics by any chance? Or a lot of fictional stories?
Of course.
So, you know the concept where someone is trying to gain information that seems to be a little bit more niche than usual, and then they come across a book that's actually like a children's fairy tale type of thing? This is going to be an instance for you.
Did you put me in the kids section? Because that's not funny.
Not intentionally.
I'm a fully grown person.
I know, dear. I know.
I pay taxes.
I understand, and thank you for paying your taxes. But the reason why a lot of our knowledge, we don't have a lot of our history, so to speak, just due to just the nature of going into the Dreaming for a very long period of time. So a lot of the stuff we have been able to gather, we had to rework them in a way. So I'm not trying to challenge your intelligence. It's just simply the fact that some things tend to be a bit more buried in this style of genre.
Anything written like a textbook is also very banal and would be a problem for this place.
We also just don't like textbooks that much.
Okay.
You will have a delightful time, I promise.
Mm.
Come on, Runt. Let's read stories.
Mm. The library is not Elodie's favorite place, ironically. It's because of the expectation of reading. Elodie likes to read, but not when they're expected to.
Yeah, Elodie likes to read, just not when you tell her to.
Yeah, I like being contrary. It's my favorite thing. That's kind of the whole Clericon thing.
All right. And who was looking up, like, Arthur?
That would be me.
Okay.
And me.
Cool.
But actually, I can pivot to something else. I have a different idea.
Okay. What's your idea?
No, I want to look into, I want to see if I can find some, I want to see if I can find, like, precedence, records.
You're gonna have to explain.
I want to see if there's records on, like, who belongs to what house and such. Feels like a thing that one should keep records of.
Doesn't the fairy census only unseal itself every, 70 years? No one liked that joke.
I
damn
snorted.
you all.
I snorted at that joke.
I was trying to think of how to handle Georgina's particular request because it's a weird request.
Toss me a pity laugh while you're thinking.
You can deal with
snorted.
Rowan while I do that. While you stall.
Well, I still have to think about it. So, all right, Rowan, I'm going to assume you have been here enough that you can go look for, you know where to find stuff that is just straight up stories, and you assume probably has some historical context because changelings are made of stories, like your whole history is about stories.
Right.
Without necessarily needing Sigrun to like hold your hand to get there.
Okay. Yeah, that seems logical.
You're one of the more you are one of the older members of the motley, and so and one of the and really the person who has been a changeling longer than anybody else. You've been to the archives a few times.
Right. Yes.
And because you're a fiction writer, you frequently end up in these might be history, but it might just be story section anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I have to do background reading to make sure that I'm directing my stories correctly.
Right. Okay. So, Sigrun, is there anything in particular you are looking up?
Prophecies. I guess to see is there a pattern to the prophecies that the collective whole changeling parliament has had, or how often we've had a collective whole prophecy for like parliament.
Given what and who you are, you know that there's no record of like every prophecy that's ever been had. There's if only because there aren't, because there is an art that allows somebody to have prophecies, it would be impossible to track all of the times prophecies happened.
Fair enough.
And a lot of people who are oracles are not forthcoming about the things that they find out. They go and they tell their house or whoever it is that they swear their allegiance to or want to succeed, and they don't talk about it to anybody else, because if other people know about it, they can fuck with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
There are also a fair number of clairvoyants who believe that the more people who know a prophecy, the less likely the prophecy is to come true. So your history, your knowledge of history, and your particular specialty, you know that big prophecies where a bunch of people at a place as crowded and important as the Parliament of Dreams happening all at once doesn't really happen. It's very, very unusual. It requires the dreaming to kind of be uppity in a way that it is not typically uppity unless you're in it.
Okay, so I guess with that in mind, is there any records of when the dreaming has been weirdly uppity? To see if maybe there's a correlation.
Okay, so you're also looking in history. All right, cool. Cool. You are able to point Georgie towards the only section that you can think of that would have records of who's who among the noble houses.
Shrug.
With the fair warning that they are likely to name some of the more important members of the noble houses, but you don't know how often these are updated. And you not being not particularly noble and not particularly interested in being a member of one of the houses, you have no idea how complete these records are going to be. You just know that this is where they would be.
It seems to be just up to the discretion of the house of when they update, so just be aware of that.
Okay. Are you particularly good at computer things?
I dabble, yes.
There are also no computers here.
Does my phone work?
Barely. You're getting really kind of off and on bars. You get the feeling it might require like an enchanted phone to work properly here because these are very banal items.
Okay. I have a dumb idea, but yeah, I'll start. I'll head to the records.
Okay. We will start with Elodie and Crook.
Hi.
You two are looking for the last time a king was murdered.
Yes.
Okay. So you find a couple of places where either a king or somebody close to a king has died. A few times it is confirmed that it was murder. Usually some sort of squabble in a battle. Almost always some sort of squabble in a battle where they have been able to confirm that it was for sure murder that did it. However, the last High King to die happened in the 90s. He was the last High King before High King David. His name was High King Lord Daffel. He was the first Lord of War of House Gwydion. And he fell during the Accordions War. What you know is that during the Battle of Manhattan, the Caliburn of the Dreaming's Heart was lost. Briefly, before being found again by High King David. You know that Daffel and his personal guards fell to a troop of commoners consisting of Salua and Redcaps. And while his personal guard kind of held them off, the High King sought refuge in the subway tunnels beneath New York City. And sometime later, within a few hours, basically, of the battle ending, his body was found with a knife of cold iron in his back, and Caliburn was missing. Elodie and Crook, I would like the both of you to roll me. Pulling up your sheet because I'm never going to get used to the fact that the abilities are different in this game. Roll me intelligence and investigation. This might be the only time in my life I have been disappointed that there isn't a research skill.
Heck. That's only one success for me.
That is 2 successes, even not having the skill.
Excellent. All right.
Elodie is bored and doesn't want to be here. Elodie doesn't research.
Elodie, you kind of get stuck in this loop where you are researching you keep bouncing back and forth between stuff about the Accordance War, which might be really interesting if you didn't know that you have to look at it. Because this is, as a reminder, this is all written in very story format. It is not written like a series of bullet points. It's not written like you would find it in a history textbook. This is written like you're almost reading like a very high-end bedtime story. And you kind of get stuck in this loop where you've got 6 books out and you're flipping back and forth and you're looking for anything that would be helpful, because the fact that somebody died during a war doesn't quite fit what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Crook, you are weirdly enough much more patient about the way that you do this, and you get very kind of methodical about it. You're not bouncing around from book to book to book. You read a book, you're like, okay, I got that, put it aside, skim through another book and find out that it's the same information told a different way, and you keep moving on. What you find out about the end of the Accordance War and about Caliburn specifically is that the last time Caliburn went missing, which was when High King Lord Daffel died and was murdered in the subway tunnels under New York City, the dreaming invaded the minds of soothsayers across the world and fed all of them a prophecy. The thing that sets this apart is that prophecy hit more than just soothsayers this time.
He stops. He's got 2 books open. He had one where he was reading through that. He stopped. He goes back to another one, opens it, flips a couple of pages.
Apologies, not across the world, across the nation. Continue.
What?
So when Daffel got, there was and Caliburn went missing, there was a prophecy, just like there was this time. Only last time the prophecy just went to a bunch of soothsayers, not to all of Parliament. Oh, and this one little motley.
We didn't get a prophecy. Well, you and I believe that was only Sigrun that got the prophecy. We got memories. But yeah, all of Parliament got a prophecy. What is that prophecy, by the way? Maybe it's written down here.
There
We
is
couldn't
no
remember it.
There is no prophecy in the book.
No, I meant the prophecy from this murder. We didn't remember all of it. Maybe someone here did. That's their job, right?
We got 3 stanzas of it. Yeah, we can look around.
Oh no, and leave the books behind? Oh no. Oh, we should probably go do that though. That sounds really important. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Books know when you don't want to read them. It makes them sad. Do you want me to make books sad?
I'm not going to dignify that question with a response.
Of course you don't want me to make books sad.
I know my books are sad when you don't read them, I say from another shelf. Well,
Don't eavesdrop, it's rude.
or at least my royalty check.
I'm sensing that people aren't reading.
I got a different idea.
I quickly turn back to my reading after the librarian tells me to shh.
Also, we're in a library. We're in a library. Shut up.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go and see if there's a person working here.
Elodie, as you make that little mocking noise, you hear me, 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 me from one of the nearby shelves.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm an idiot.
Yep.
Who are you? And I'm gonna look around for the source of the voice.
Make me a perception alertness check, please.
Thank God. I was hoping you'd do that.
Can I make this check, or is
You can
Elodie
absolutely
having a personal...
make this check. Elodie is not having a mental breakdown, as funny as that would be.
Okay, there we go. 4 successes.
one.
Crook, you can tell which section of the bookshelf the voice is coming from, but you don't see what is making or who is making the voice. Elodie, as you scan the stacks around you, it takes you a moment and you almost miss it before you spot a small kind of like gold and blue like caterpillar worm looking thing with a feather coming out of the top of its head. Hello.
Hi there, friend.
It's got big, big for it, round glasses that take up most of its face.
Oh my god, are you a bookworm?
I am.
Are you the kind that eats books or the kind that reads books?
I read books.
Are you the librarian?
I only eat them when they need to be eaten, which doesn't happen often enough. She looks disappointed.
That's very threatening. But, are you the librarian?
No, I just live here.
Oh. Wait, you live here in Parliament?
I live here in the archives. Parliament is very big. I would never get anywhere.
Do you repeat everything?
No.
Do you repeat a lot of things?
Sometimes.
Do you remember a lot of things?
I think so. How would I know if I didn't?
Oh my god, you're so smart. What do you remember when everyone started talking at the same time?
That happens more often than you think it would, but
Really?
Could you be more specific?
I think this happened, well, technically it happened like a week and a half ago.
Okay.
Almost 2 weeks. They were spouting a prophecy. Crook, how much of the prophecy do you have? Can you tell this friendly worm? This is my new best friend.
With Elodie pointing it out, you can now see the bookworm.
Are you familiar with the prophecy that was recited in Parliament last week?
Oh. I have heard about it. I did not. I don't know if I heard it when it happened, but my understanding is that is normal.
Would you happen to know someone who knows it? You seem social. I bet you have like a bunch of friends on
Knows
on
all
Facebook.
of it? No, I have not. I have not met anyone who knows all of it. I have, and she kind of lowers her voice conspiratorially. I have heard that there are different people who know different.
Well, then that's easy. We just gotta figure out who knows each piece.
If you say so. Most people don't come in here for me to talk to them.
You want to come with us on an adventure?
No, I like it here.
Well, yeah, I like my house too, but I leave it sometimes.
Your house is not 1,000,000 times larger than you are.
You can ride on my shoulder.
No, I like it here.
Okay, that's fair.
Do you need help finding anything, or?
Can you let me know who the people are that you've talked to that know the bits
Oh, I
of the
haven't
prophecy?
talked to them. I've just overheard them talking to one another.
Oh, okay, so you're eavesdropping. That's naughty. You're a naughty, naughty worm.
It's not eavesdropping if I was already here first.
I don't think that's how that works.
I am not. There are no rules that I have to tell people that I'm here. You all should be more observant.
I mean, to be fair, there's no rules for worms at all. I wouldn't think of a rule and say, yeah, that definitely applies to worms.
There are most certainly rules in the archives. It's just that none of those are that I have to tell people that I'm here. And You all should really be more observant.
But I was observant. I noticed you. I'm talking to you
After
right
I
now.
talk.
We're going around in circles and I'm wasting your time. I'm so sorry. You're just so fascinating to talk to. Do you want anything? Like, I can get you something and then I'll bring it back, like, later. I'm kind of busy right now. I'm saving the world.
Her little head kind of, like, leans down and extends over the edge of the shelf that she is on, and she looks down at the 6 books at your feet. You could put those away.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't just going to leave them. Well, yes, I was. Well,
You were
I was
absolutely going to leave them.
I was going to leave, but I was expecting Crook to clean them up. Or if he didn't, then Rowan would.
Well, that is rude.
And if Rowan didn't, then Sigrun would.
Always put your own books back. That is what I would like.
Okay, I'll put them away. I'm sorry. And
You would not
thoroughly
like
abashed.
You would not like it if I messed up your house.
No, someone cleaned my house recently and it was very upsetting.
She gives a little, like, half wiggle that you take as the closest thing to a shrug that her little worm body can manage.
I'll have to ask you about how you get your prescription updated later, but I'm going to put my books away.
Okay. She looks over at Crook. Did you want something?
Crook takes a breath, looks at Elodie, sees Elodie going to put away books. Can you possibly recall the last person you heard talking about the prophecy?
I did not know their names, but they were a pair of... She kind of looks thoughtful. One of them was a slua with pale skin and white eyes, and one of them was I believe a she with red hair. But I don't remember what color their eyes were. That's strange. They must not have looked directly at me. I can't remember. They both were talking very quietly, but that's normal for the slua. Less so for the she.
Hmm. Do you remember what they said?
Her head kind of tilts again, one way, and then tilts another. Not very much of it. I know that they talked about prophecy. They talked about a portal. And that someone died. I assume they were talking about the High King. But everybody knows that he died. Even I knew. And very few people come through here, except for the slua who don't really talk.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'm going to go put my books away.
Good. Thank you. And you watch as she turns and begins to crawl up the bookshelf.
Oh my goodness, I'm so rude. And I hustle back after putting away my books. What's your name?
Magda.
It's very nice to meet you, Magda. My name is Elodie.
Hello, Elodie. Thank you for putting away your books.
Thank you for admonishing me gently.
You're very welcome.
I look at Crook. I thrive under a gentle but firm discipline. Take notes.
Says the kid who does silver gloves. Okay. So question for the STA. Redheaded, she is going to be like lots of them, but a slua with white eyes, that might stick out a little more.
Yes, that is a little bit more likely to stick out than most others, Lua. White eyes is not a thing specific to them. They do usually have a weird coloring, but
can I think of any famous Slua with white eyes?
off the top of your head, no.
Okay.
Okay. Rowan.
Yes.
You are looking for Arthur. Yes?
Yes.
Looking to see if the Dreaming's records are more complete than anything you found out in the real world or out in the Autumn world.
Yeah, or at least just comparing, sort of putting a control on the experiment. Like, is this happening in more chimerical repositories as well as real ones?
Okay. I would like you to make me an intelligence and investigation roll, or an intelligence and academics roll.
Will do.
Double checking your sheet.
I do have a specialty in medieval history. I'm not sure if that's
That is not going to
apply here.
help you
Probably
here.
not. Yeah.
Oof.
Ooh,
One success.
revolting.
Okay. You do find references to Arthur and references to Camelot. What the thing that strikes you as strange, and maybe not entirely strange because this happens out in the Autumn world when there are references there as well, is that every reference is slightly different. No two of these books is telling the story the same way.
Yeah, I mean that's not entirely unexpected, but the references are present. They haven't been erased.
Correct.
Okay. Well,
How different and if anything about that stands out would require another roll at a higher difficulty and more time.
okay. Can I make that attempt once it is appropriate to do so?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Just let me know.
Okay. Sigrun, what are you looking at?
She was looking for the instances where the Dreaming has a weird meltdown type of vibe.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Make me an intelligence and investigation roll, please.
Okie dokie. 3 and then 5. Two success.
Okay. What you find is that the Dreaming acts out every so often, usually during major events. You find a reference to the mass prophecy that went out at the end of the Accordance War, when Caliburn of the Dreaming's heart was lost last time. Is the most recent. You find references to it's less that the Dreaming went crazy or anything like that as so much as that there was like mass access or revoking of access to the Dreaming around major points in history. I'm trying to think of a good way to put this.
The Dreaming sensed shenanigans were happening, and so it responded in kind.
Less that and more things that happen with humanity. that cause like an upswell in banality or a kind of ebbing in the amount of banality in the world is usually what the dreaming is reacting to.
So I guess with that in mind, I can't quite recall when the specific date of our show, but has there been something?
Well,
is it because
the specific date of
everything
our
is weird?
the specific date of our show is that we're in about mid-January 2025.
Okay, so fair. I was like, is it because everything's kind of shitty right now, or did something specific, like, would something specific stick out in her mind to maybe cause something to be in flux?
No,
For,
as
like,
far as you
most
were,
recent-
as far as you're aware, the world in general is kind of shitty, but you don't think that has anything to do with anything because the world has had several like shitty moments the last several years.
Mhm.
And aside from a kind of weird amount of fluctuation during 2020 and the COVID lockdowns in regards to glamour, that's kind of the most topsy-turvy it's gotten.
Mhm.
And when I say a weird fluctuation, I mean lots of people were home. It was harder for it was harder for changelings to get to things like balefires and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay.
But also more people were home and thus able to pursue creative endeavors. So while there was more stress, which means sometimes less dreaming or more nightmares, there was also kind of more dreaming because a lot of people got very creative and pursued things that they never had a chance to pursue before because they had more time on their hands. So it was weird fluctuations.
Okay.
But the dreaming didn't do anything specifically weird. It was just circumstances were kind of all over the place.
Okay. Got it. Interesting.
You guys were one of the least impacted. Well, not all of you because two of you weren't here yet, but you, Crook, and or you and Rowan, I should say. I don't know if Crook had. I'd have to look back at my notes to see if Crook had already had his awakening. But you and Rowan were kind of like some of the least impacted out of all of the changelings that you knew because running a place that sells food and drink meant that you guys were open despite it being COVID lockdowns. And you live in the damn building that has the balefire, so
Convenient.
While people couldn't come in and loiter in your freehold, you were able to do so because you lived just up or just downstairs.
Yeah.
And also we
Okay.
could be there after closing hours.
During things that you know for sure, during humanity's big push away from polytheism and towards monotheism, and the rise of like kind of powerful worldwide religions like Christianity and whatnot, there was kind of a lack of glamour, or the amount of glamour that was common dropped quite a bit, and you know that those years were called the dim years, because it was kind of a bleak period for Kithane in general.
Okay.
And let's see. You know that during the 14th century was what's called the Shattering, and that was when a lot of changelings like went in, like retreated into their domain. Some of them just went back to the dreaming and never came back. In fact, that was when most of the Sidhe, I believe, left, if I remember correctly. And then the resurgence came during the Cold War and the space race. The resurgence is when the dreaming like threw open its gates again, and a bunch of the She started to return to the world, which was a problem for most commoners because commoners had kind of started to take over, or had not even started. Commoners had like actually begun to take over, like they were holding old She freeholds, and that's part of what kicked off the Accordance War. Was the She returning and being like, hey, we want our stuff back, and the commoners being like, fuck you, you can't have it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. That's curious. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Georgie,
What's up?
you're in the record section. What are you looking for? It is worth
this
noting that
point-
any records
yeah.
you find are almost entirely going to be specific to noble families. This is you're basically looking at like bloodline information more than anything else. You are not likely to find much in the way of information on commoners.
All right. At this point, I'll pull the House Gaha, if I can find it.
Okay. Are you looking for
And
anything in particular?
I'm looking to see if there's records of who's most recently around. And if my phone doesn't work for like cross-referencing, I'll take some pictures or write down the names so I can check something later.
What do you mean who's around?
Who's active now? I don't know if obviously people are dead, so I'm not gonna go that far back.
Okay, so House Skaha is a house, which means that it has members all over the world.
In DC.
Make me an intelligence and investigation roll. And this is tough because these are there's a lot of stuff to go through. You don't know you don't know how current it is. You don't know who is holed up in a freehold somewhere and thus much older than they should be, so it's hard to narrow stuff down. And House Skaha is one of the like least forthcoming houses. So we're looking at like a difficulty 8.
I'm literally throwing spaghetti at the wall right now. I have no idea what else I'm gonna do.
Okay.
And also, this is a skill I don't have investigation for, so
Then it's a
We're just gonna
difficulty
throw
9.
yeah, we're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Actually, fuck it. I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Okay.
I'll take that one success.
Okay. You find House Skaha in the You find them in the archives. The first thing you realize is that their records are very sparse. You can tell that they do have commoners who have been elevated, much like Crook was. And that they're a Sealy house, but they hold almost no lands, and they don't really get involved in politics unless it's at a very local level. And thus don't put forward a head of house to be a representative in the Parliament of Dreams. That's what you get. There is nobody listed as the head of house to be the representative.
What was the other house we were looking at?
I don't know.
House Varich.
Yes.
I would do the same with them.
House Varric. Okay. there's more information on these guys and somehow less. When I say there is more, I mean that they are a little bit more. The records on them are not quite as limited. There are plenty of names here, but less in that they don't tell you a ton. What you know is that the founder of the house, is currently living in San Francisco, and is a dancer who runs a theater group. And they have the title Child of the Sun and Moon. Other things. You know that Tsar Ivan and Tsarina Ekaterina are the rulers of the Empire of the Firebird. There are members that it looks like might be here in DC or were here at some point. None of them seems particularly important because it's literally just like names and a general sense of location. Like they're listed as being in this like duchy.
All right.
And for reference, the Empire of the Firebird is in Russia. It's Russia, the Ukraine, and Siberia. If you would like to, you could maybe write down the names of the people who are local that are part of House
Yes,
Bard.
that is the yes. I'll get the names of the people who are local, and that's of if there's anyone from Skaha, if there's anyone from
like I said, you're not with only one thing. You get like nothing on House Skaha other than the fact that there are members of the house somewhere. With only one, that's rough.
That's fine. I'll take the names I can get, and I won't make you pull out names from your butt on while we're live streaming.
It's I have names. It's more of a you didn't roll very well. But I can get you a list and put them in your journal on break.
Cool.
Were there any other houses you wanted to look at? I believe there was also House Elodie.
Yeah, I probably honestly, if Georgie has the time, she's going to start pulling down as many as she can, but starting with those two, Elodie. Fiona is a thing we can do, but I'm a little less concerned about them.
Okay. So you're just pulling shit off the shelves and
truly pulling shit off pulling the books off the shelves, taking a photo and then putting them back, or writing them down by hand if my phone isn't working and putting them back.
Your phone is not going to work anytime you try and do stuff like take a picture. You come out with like weird colorful swirls, but they don't tell you anything. Your phone does not like it here.
Writing it all down by hand then.
Okay. Cool. I will get you lists of names during the break. Who else was looking for stuff? I think that was it. Yeah. Did we hit everybody?
I had a follow-up to mine, but
Yes, sir. What was your question?
Oh, I wanted to do a further roll to see.
Yes. Roll intelligence and academics at difficulty 7.
One success again.
The ones really have it out for you tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so bad.
At least it's not a botch or a fail.
It is not a botch. Okay. but I believe that's the same number of successes you got last time, so you don't get anything extra, I'm afraid.
True.
All right. You have all done your various bits of research. Are you gonna meet up in the middle and discuss your findings?
I'd like to.
Sure.
Okay.
I found a worm.
You found a worm.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
It's a
Did they-
bookworm.
Ah,
Does Sigrun know the bookworms of the archives?
You know of a few chimera who live in the archives. Yes. You have met a couple of bookworms here in your time.
which one did you meet?
Her name is Magda.
Oh, I had that in my
Sorry.
the notes I was able to take. Sorry, brain is braining tonight. Yeah, I met Magda, and she very lightly shamed me about not putting my books away, but I thought someone else was gonna do it, I swear.
Well, it's good that she lightly shamed you. You should take responsibility for the things you take out. I don't believe I know Magda. I've met some of the other worms.
But basically, with her and with a realization, we found out that with the last king, another prophecy went out across the nation, but only to soothsayers, and it wasn't to everyone at Parliament, and he died during a battle, and Elodie rapid fire repeats what they have learned about the prophecy then in the 90s versus the prophecy now with High King David's death, and the realization that we never got the entire prophecy, so let's try and find it piecemeal with the clues that Magda gave us.
Technically, he didn't die during the battle. He fled during the battle and was found murdered later.
Oh yeah, he was a coward. Oh, is that mean to say? Is that a mean thing?
That is a mean thing to say.
Being stabbed in the back doesn't make you a coward. And it's the responsibility of a king to flee when his guards buy him time.
Do you also
Okay, then the guy that
mention?
stabbed him was a coward.
Do you also mention the two secret people?
Yeah, no, I tell the whole description.
White Eyes is not too common with us. That'd be a bit more difficult to track down, but the Slua possibly. Interesting. At the very least. Oh, you first.
White eyes, would it be, is it possible it's blindness, not just an aesthetic choice?
That could be possible. Yes.
Worth noting, and you would all pretty much know this, chimera always see a kith's chimerical form, and that's not an aesthetic choice, that's just what they are. Point being, they always see your chimerical form, and your chimerical form can't wear contacts.
Right.
It is something that is a part of them, so it's possible that it could be from blindness, but it's also possible that Slua tend to have very unique eyes. It also could just be a potential of that. It's just not often that they are pure white.
That's more what I meant.
Right.
Well, okay, I'm gonna be that guy again. Gang, I think it's time for us to split up. Scooby, Shaggy.
Hold. Everyone else has not shared their stuff yet.
We have so little time.
I have local fae from the houses we've been discussing. I have a silly idea, but it's better than literally any idea at this point, right?
What have you got?
Theoretically, if people are interacting in the world, I don't know how connected these particular changelings are. They would leave. Do you know what traffic analysis is?
I think I've heard of it.
It's an analysis of traffic.
Thank God someone said it.
No, I do not know what that means.
I was about ready to have Magda show up again.
It's sort of it's when you look at the movements of a person or an entity in all forms, specifically like their digital footprint as well as their literal movements in and out. It's the and also of a given space. So like who all comes in, who all comes out. In this particular case, then I'm gonna stalk some people on Facebook.
So like spy shit. You're straight up the FBI.
Nope.
The Facebook investigator.
It's like it's girl math.
That almost got you. That does sound like girl math.
It's girl math.
Well, Rowan, did you find anything?
Not much, I'm afraid, but I was, at the very least, able to discover that Arthurian legends have not vanished from this particular library. The stories are varied in their versions, but they're here. They have not been erased.
I don't know what that means.
Nor do I. Except perhaps because this is a place that gathers the knowledge of the Fae and perhaps by extension the dreaming, it isn't affected in the same way. That or whatever caused the Arthurian legends to erase themselves from the mortal world was unable to affect this place or perhaps get to it.
Maybe it didn't want to.
That's also possible.
Could have been a clue.
Definitely possible.
Mine was in regards to checking to see what were the instances when the dreaming has been in larger fluxes. Prophecies aren't typically written down with the idea of the masses knowing them. Many soothsayers or those or oracles tend to keep it to their houses. And there's also a theory that the more people know about a prophecy, the less likely it to happen. But that's semantics. I'm not going to argue about that now. At the very least, prophecies tend to occur when the dreaming acts a bit more. Wild's not the best way to put it, but a more powerful surge of the dreaming. So trying to see if there are instances of that type of flux creating a pattern. And typically it happens when large events start to occur, so we can surmise the prophecy that happened here due to the powerful influx of the dreaming occurred. Probably due to the High King dying. That is my theory at the very least. But outside of that, there doesn't seem to be truly a big rhyme or reason.
I have one more stupid idea.
No stupid ideas.
I was about to say it's not stupid.
No,
Speak
this
your
one
mind.
actually might be.
Don't talk
Speak your
don't talk
mind.
about my friend like that.
No, I'm allowed to be a little stupid.
No, don't talk about my friend like that, because then I'll have to punch you, and then I'll have
What's
to punch
the
me.
idea?
Elodie,
What's the idea?
If people want to get us, why are we looking for them? Why not make them find us?
I think that's actually potentially a good idea.
Do we know that people are looking for us?
Not, well, based on the vision, yes.
yes. The ones who attacked Lord Rhodes did know we went into the dreaming.
Hmm.
And while we don't know much about these two individuals, from what Magda told you to, there were talks of portals. Possibly, they may be involved. Not sure, but possible.
Okay. So how do we get them to come look for us?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Here's my thought. I'm going to go back upstairs where we have a few more bars. You do your Facebook stalking. Elodie will find Vigdis. And maybe we can look around and see if we can't find a white-eyed she. And if they're standing next to a redheaded or a white-eyed slua. And if they're standing next to a ginger she, all the better.
Would you think it's possible? We were already discussing spreading the word a little bit more, just to see what bites. That could be our way of being a bit too nosy for our own good, thus bringing people to us.
Sure, just make a note of whom you tell what.
All of my other friends are mortal.
More or less the same.
I'm gonna feed Godric a line when he gets here, but
All right, well, back to the land of service.
yep.
Alrighty. Thank you for the knowledge that you have bestowed on us today, Archive.
You feel I mean any of you could feel this, but I feel like Sigrun is the most likely to really notice. A very vague shift in the air around you, like glamour has for just a moment collected a little bit more heavily around you, and then it dissipates.
I'll be back next Tuesday.
I guess we all troop back to the lobby.
All right.
Yes.
Trooping back to the lobby. Elodie is going to look for Vigdis, and Georgie is going outside.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Georgie, you step outside and realize that this is not just a matter of you have to go outside of the front door. You're going to have to like go off the grounds a fair bit. Because this is a big ass building on a island that isn't supposed to have any buildings on it. So in order to get away from the glamour that keeps mortals from seeing it, you have to walk a bit.
Fine.
All right, Elodie is going to look for Vigdis. Georgie is going to where she has signal. Crook, where are you going?
Crook is going to meander around and look for a slua.
All right, look for a slua and wait for Godric. Got it.
Yep.
Rowan.
Yes.
Where are you going? Or are you going with somebody specific?
I'd like to just sort of look through and see if there's anybody I find familiar just from having been at Parliament previously. I'm trying to keep Elodie in my sight just in case I need to perform a rescue. But I'll look around and see if there's anybody I can kind of.
I mean, as
drop a
long as
line
you've been
to.
around, you see plenty of people that you've probably met, at least in passing. How familiar do you want them to be is a better question.
I would say not like an intimate friend or anything like that, because but maybe somebody I've met a couple of times, like hopefully, like ideally it's somebody who I could drop a line to and they wouldn't necessarily suspect that I have an ulterior motive.
Okay. That is easily enough done. And Sigrun, what are you doing?
I also want to join Crook in finding a Slua.
Okay. All right. Georgie,
Yes.
you are outside. You have to walk a hot minute away from the building. In fact, you are nearly back to the footbridge by the time your signal kind of comes back to normal.
All right.
It is January, so there aren't a ton of people out walking around, but you do see like a handful. There are a handful of like people who are out for a walk. And are walking among the paths that kind of weave in and out of the mostly hibernating for the winter trees on the footpaths around the island.
I'm gonna keep moving because it's cold.
Are you leaving the island, or are you staying on the island and just trying to avoid the big dead zone?
That. I want to stay as close as I can to the motley without leaving, while doing what I need to do.
Okay. Are you looking for anything in particular when you get online?
All right. Hear me out.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, first thing I'm going to do is check LinkedIn.
Okay. You're trying to compare names to people's LinkedIns?
Yes, because especially she tend to end up in, higher powered places, like positions. I could just do a quick Google search as well, but let's get creative.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Basically, I'll give you
such
the
a weird
widest
tangent
version
to go on.
I'll give you the widest version, but I'm trying to explain. Let me explain it then, so that you don't have to just go every step of the way with me.
Okay.
I'm using basically. I want to see if anyone's name pops up on social media to see if I can find where they would have been in the last week or so. I'm looking for like Facebook posts, Instagram stories, anything that is like publicly available. That's like, oh, I'm here in DC, or hanging out with family or whatever. Invitations to parties that people might have gotten into, using kind of the network of people that LinkedIn is a more involved professional network, so that's why I'm starting there. But the idea remains. And then I turn on all of my dating apps and do the same.
Good Lord. Okay. All right. Cool. Trying to think of how to approach this, because this is a couple of different types of skill that is being applied here.
I might have needed Sigrun for this.
Let's see. What do you have? You have no dots in technology and no dots in computer, Bibo.
I know, I needed Sigrun for this, actually.
This is going to be very difficult for you. Okay.
I'm wasting another willpower on this, too.
So, yeah, it's going to be intelligence and computer. And you're gonna need, let's see, normally I would say this is probably a difficulty 7. So it's gonna be a difficulty 8 because you do not have any dots in it.
Hold on, I'm trying to think if I can do a spell about this.
I am fairly certain that none of your arts apply to doing things on the internet.
Would have been a hear me out. Don't worry about it. Sorry, what's my difficulty?
8.
I'm gonna use the willpower. 1 success.
Okay. What you find, number 1, you don't find much. You turn on all of your dating apps and you immediately get inundated with messages. This is pretty normal for you, unfortunately. There's a reason why you don't usually have them on all the time, because you would just get spam day in and day out. It doesn't take you long to realize that most of it is, dudes looking for a hookup. The occasional woman who seems vaguely interesting. None of them, as far as you can tell, are changelings, although it would be difficult for you to be able to figure out on a dating app if somebody is a changeling or not, because you can't see their chimerical form through technology. As you are, rapidly kind of trying to swipe to close the constant flood of hey babies and dick pics, you pull up LinkedIn instead and start cross-referencing names. You find a number of local she and a couple of commoners former commoners who are part of these houses. Part of some of these houses, you find nobody from House Skaha. None. You don't know if that is on you because you're not doing a very good job, or if they're just that shady. It's hard to tell. From what you understand of that particular house, they are not the most outgoing, and they're not terribly interested in politics. So it could just be that they tend to keep a low profile. Pun intended. You find a couple of House Fiona folks, and you find several members of House Varric. Almost none of them have profiles that are terribly specific or local to DC. There's like 2 or 3. All of them are like high-powered, like lawyers, and it looks like one of them might be like an agent. Who helps like book appearances for like or an agent who helps to manage politicians or former politicians who have gone into like the speaking circuit and things like that.
Anyone pinging as like having been in the area recently?
With a 1, no. You know that they are located. There are a few who are like local in general, but you don't know if they are physically here in the city right now with a 1.
All right. And then the last thing, the reason that I use the dating app specifically is you can do those by location.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I'm saying with a 1 and you turning on all of your dating apps and your appearance, you're not getting anywhere with that anytime soon. That's like an hours long project.
I'll keep it on for now, but yeah.
Okay.
And head back inside.
Well, you are out there for a while, so not right now. Cool. Up. Rowan.
Yes.
You are able to find a couple of people that you know. There is a fellow Boggin, who you have met. You don't spend a lot of time with her, but you guys have like hung out. That for a while there was like a group of you, Boggin, who kind of had like a little like like tea and book club thing going, and everybody used to meet at your shop for a little while. But it's
That is
been a while
darling.
since you've seen her like a lot.
Does she have a name by any chance?
Yes, I was getting to that.
Okay, cool.
I was scrolling through my thing because I was looking up something for Georgie's stuff. Her name is Carrie Ann. She is a kind of round little woman who comes in at no taller than 4'11", and has just this poof of wild blonde, going gray curls atop her head that no matter how hard she tries, she never seems to tame. They only seem to get more ornery the more she messes with them.
Lovely. Carrie Ann, it's so good to see you again. How are you?
Oh, Rowan, hello. It's been a long time. I'm okay, all things considered. How are you?
Doing well as can be. I just finished doing all the promotion on the new books, so very happy about how that went.
That's
Things are going
fantastic.
well with the charity as well.
Good.
Excellent. Well, I mean, there is, of course, this terrible business that just happened. I suppose mortal world things are going well, perhaps not so well on our side of things, as I'm sure you can appreciate. I don't know if you heard, but there was. He looks around and see if anyone's listening in.
Roll me a perception and alertness roll.
That's one.
Okay. From what you can tell, nobody is watching or listening in.
All right. I say, I don't know if you heard, but there was an assault on our freehold the night everything happened.
Really? I hadn't heard that. That's strange. An assault by who? Did someone try and steal the freehold from you?
We're not sure what they wanted. There are these shadowy creatures. I wasn't actually there. I was at this estate sale when it occurred. But
Oh, did you
the
get
rest-
anything good?
Oh, yes. You should have seen some of the darling things that I got. There was this hope. I'm getting off topic. The rest of the motley was able to fight them off, thankfully, but it was quite an ordeal.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Well, I'm glad that everyone is safe. Is there anything up I can? Is there anything that I can do?
No, not at this time. I don't think it's just it's good to talk about. I care a lot about my motley, and I just you know uh, I really want to ensure that they're okay.
Oh, I'm sure. Although I have heard that you have a couple of members of your motley who are very capable in a fight.
Oh, yes, of course. But I mean, even the most capable person, things can happen. There's always somebody better, isn't there?
That is true. That is true. The
But,
High King was no slouch. So
that is very true. Um, Rest his soul.
indeed.
Mm.
Well, I'm glad that everyone is okay. Are you here for any particular reason?
Well, I just thought I should catch up on everyone's news, given that there's so much right now. What do you remember of that night?
Oh, not very much. I was serving serving snacks during the break between debates. And then I don't remember much until the guard showed up and said the High King is dead. And her eyes, that are these like kind of bright, kind of sparkly blue, immediately fill, and very, very expressive, immediately fill with tears. She looks almost a little bit like an anime character, really.
Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring up any bad memories.
Oh no,
And
it's still just a shock.
I give her I ask her if she'd be okay with a hug first, and then
Absolutely.
Okay, I give her a nice big boggin hug.
She takes it gratefully, and seems to kind of soak in the comfort from the moment. Well, I need to get going. I still have I'm still technically on the clock.
Please come by the freehold when you're able to. I'll have some nice coffee ready. I'll have all of the baked goods. It would be lovely to see you there again.
Oh, I remember. And she pats her kind of rounded tummy. I'll come by and visit as soon as I'm able.
Wonderful. I'll see you later, Carrie Ann. It was nice to catch up.
You too. And she wanders off.
Perfect.
Crook.
Yes.
Perception alertness, please.
Sure. My Slua buddy is helping me out here.
Yes. Yes.
Hey. I am determined, so I will spend a point of willpower, but 4 successes.
Okay. First things first, you do not see a Slua with wide eyes. You see a handful of she moving about with red hair. What was the other thing you were looking for? I'm sorry. And I know you're waiting on Godric.
Yeah, no, that was it.
No, you scan the areas around you, and don't like you walk up and down hallways. You are certain that there is no Slua with wide eyes here today, right now.
Okay.
You are on your way back out towards kind of like the lobby area to meet back up with people. When you see Godric walking in, he's about a half hour late, but that is pretty normal for anybody who's fighting with DC traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And he spots you after a moment, and kind of gives a little wave and makes his way over.
Should I leave you? Should I leave you to speak with him privately?
Yeah, maybe go talk with the other Slua, see if you can identify who our mystery Slua is.
She does this like the 2-finger salute and try to find the goth people who hang out in the shadows.
The goth people. Godric kind of looks up at you as he approaches. Well, good to see you're still alive.
Yeah. Good to be still alive. Been a weird week. Is there someplace we can talk?
There is. This way. And he goes down a hallway. And into what looks like a pretty large, like fancy kind of half office, half conference room. And when you look up, you realize that there is a coat of arms for your house on the wall. This is our reserved space, and he locks the door to make sure that nobody follows the two of you in.
Caught up a little bit with Sir Leo. He didn't seem to know anything. It's like most people have been spinning their wheels all week.
I think there are some people who are making moves. Leo is here to cover the day-to-day.
Yeah.
In case anything happens that we need to be aware of. But most of the activity is happening in, well, and he'll kind of gesture around higher places than this.
Anything I need to know?
Not unless there is some reason that you think you should know things that take place in higher places and with well, people at the top of the food chain. He kind of arches a brow.
Well, how about when Parliament had their big vision or their big prophecy moment, I had a vision of a round table and a couple of events that I think relate to, you know who Sir Kay is?
No.
Arthur's foster brother.
Oh,
Kind of a dick.
didn't know he had one of those.
Yep.
Okay, so you've had visions about
That I was him.
Oh. Interesting. We're talking like past life stuff.
Yep.
Unusual, not unheard of, but unusual.
So, you tell me. Is there anything I need to know?
I mean, I haven't heard anything specific to the Arthurian legends. I know that there's a lot of talk amongst our scholars that Caliburn is really Excalibur, at least the source of the legend of Excalibur, or maybe born from the legend of Excalibur.
You have any Arthur books at home? Once and Future King, Idols of the King.
I mean, I'm sure we do. I haven't read them.
You should open one this week. I bet it's blank. Or missing.
He frowns. Okay. So you guys had the prophecy at your coffee shop.
Part of it.
And now you're having visions about past lives?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Listen. What I can tell you is that there is a lot of scrambling for who's going to back the heir if somebody else is going to step up. There are a lot of people saying that we can't name a new High King or a High Queen without the sword. The theory from our scholars, our house's scholars, is that the reason why the sword went missing is because the heir is not worthy and doesn't want to be found. Like it's waiting for somebody specific. That could be bad because that could, it could cause a civil war. And that's if we're lucky. Well, no, I shouldn't say the Civil War would be the lucky outcome. The lucky outcome would be if all of the kingdoms decided that they were just going to mutually go back to just being kingdoms and nobody answers to a high king. That would make things difficult and politics would get a lot more complicated, but would be the lucky outcome. The slightly less lucky outcome is a civil war. The really unlucky outcome is that every king and queen from one coast to the other starts vying for that position on top of the people who feel like they have a claim by blood or by power. Listen, I could be wrong. This is just a theory. What little I remember about the stories of King Arthur and his knights went on quests. Excalibur had to be retrieved in the first place before Arthur could claim the throne. If you guys are getting the prophecy and you're remembering, and at least one of you is remembering to be a knight of the round, I'd guess the dreaming is trying to put you on a quest.
How much of the prophecy have you guys collected?
Me personally, almost none. I've been busy trying to manage the politics.
Well, yeah, you had the one stanza you gave me.
Yeah, and, because it was all I remembered.
So I have 4.
Damn. You may have more than anybody else, or at least more than anybody is willing to admit. Listen, Crook, you need to be careful about who you tell about the visions that you're having.
I am being.
I know. I'm just saying, if it leaves this room, you need to be careful about who you share it with.
Understood. There's one other wrinkle.
Yeah, you seem off.
Well, yeah, I'm being straight with you.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was just that you're freaked out and needed somebody who knows more about most of the stuff in general, or if there's something else going on. But now I'm going to guess that there's something else going on. So why don't you tell me? And
you talked about
he sits down.
You talked about going on a quest. We went on a quest. We went to the dreaming. We came back.
Who sent you on a quest to the dreaming?
Nobody. It was a wild portal.
That doesn't sound like a quest. That sounds like a... Continue.
And yet, a quest was had. And yeah, I got to use passive voice because it just kind of happened to us.
Okay. So what happened? Why are you being so weird? Or less weird?
Because I came out of it no longer believing honor is a lie.
Oh, I see. Well, that certainly complicates things.
I thought it might. I reckon you're going to need to go talk to your mom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to require a conversation or 3. All right.
I'm going to be here for a little bit yet. We're trying to look up a few things. But probably after that, I'll be home.
Well, I will keep in touch as much as I can. Like I said, I'm helping my mother try to manage the political fallout from all of this. When I have a chance to have a conversation about your situation with her, I'll let you know. Keep me up to date if anything changes with your various, then he kind of gestures vaguely at you, situations.
Yep. Oh, I did swear an oath.
Fuck. Okay.
And I don't think it's something you have to worry about necessarily, but well, it's been a hell of a week. If I find who hurt Lord Rhodes, I will avenge him.
Oh, I didn't know anybody had hurt him. Okay. Noted. Well, Hopefully it wasn't one of ours. If it was, I don't know
Hopefully.
anything about it.
You get a wits and empathy check on
You
that.
can absolutely wits and empathy.
Do.
Standard difficulty.
Yeah, we'll burn one more willpower on this. Do. 3 successes.
As far as you could tell, he is being completely honest and sincere when he seems surprised and says that he doesn't know anything. At least about that. Okay, do me a favor. Avoid taking any other oaths if you can. Taking an oath to avenge somebody isn't all that uncommon. And as far as I'm aware, doesn't impact us at all, because as far as I'm aware, nobody from our family did anything. But the more oaths you pile on top of each other, the more complicated things are going to get for you. And the Dreaming has a way of bitch slapping people who break their oaths. And I would appreciate you not being useless to me.
I endeavor to be useful.
Is there anything else I need to be aware of before I go back to my work?
Just that I'll be here.
Or at home.
Or at home.
And you'll let me know if you go anywhere else.
I'll have my phone on me.
Okay, I'm just saying, if you go through another portal, I'd like to know before you go through the portal.
There may be timing issues, but I will endeavor to let you know.
Okay. I'm gonna go now. Oh, and he gets to the door, pauses, turns back, and tucks a couple of 20s into your hand. I was gonna take you to lunch, but I don't have an appetite right now. So get yourself something good to eat, and then he leaves.
Why don't you have an appetite?
I don't know. I just got inundated with information that I now have to mull over. That happens sometimes.
Oh, okay.
And he kind of...
Sorry. I can always eat.
Color me surprised. And he walks away.
Thanks, though.
And as he'll kind of salute you over his shoulder as he is walking away at a quick clip. And that is where we're going to take our break.
Thank you for watching District of Dreams. If you enjoy this story, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to follow more of our content. You can find all of our actual plays on our website at www.hallowedhavenstudios.com. And please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/hallowedhavenstudios. Your support helps make more stories like this possible.
Eating is fun.
And we're back. Sorry for the long break there, folks. We had some minor behind the scene crises that had to be dealt with. All right. Let's see. We have handled Georgie. We have handled Crook. We've handled Rowan. So it's Elodie and Sigrun's turn, correct?
Yeah. Hi.
Elodie.
That's me.
You are looking for Vigdis, yes? Or her brother.
Yes.
Well, you've never met Vigdis's brother, so it's worth noting that. You know that she has one you didn't know before last week, but you know now.
Yeah.
Make me a... Make me a perception and alertness roll.
Four successes.
Excellent. You do not see Vigdis. However, you do see another troll who looks an awful lot like her. But, you know, much more masculine, a little bit taller, broader. And he is wearing a guard's uniform.
I'm just gonna skip my way up and tap, tap, tap on the shoulder.
Your tap, tap, tap is more clang, clang, clang because it is armor. But he turns slowly on his heel and looks down at you. Can I help you?
I think you might, sir. You look a lot like my friend.
Is this one of those all trolls look the same jokes?
No, because that seems really fucked up. I meant in a familial way, my guy. You have a sister, right?
I do.
Yeah, Vigdis.
She's not working today.
Well, good, because I want to talk to you. Point, point, point.
You must be Elodie.
How'd you know?
Vigdis has told me about you.
All good things, all good things.
Mm-hmm.
But I lower my voice. I want to talk to you about the fate of the world.
Okay.
Is there somewhere we can go where we're not going to be overheard?
Maybe if you promise never to do whatever that was again.
I'm whispering. Conspiratorially.
Follow me. And he turns on his heel again. He's got very precise, very like military marching precision kind of movements, and he leads you down a short hall and into what you realize looks like some sort of like half barrack, half break room. There's like bunk beds along one side, and then there's like a table and chairs and a little like pseudo kitchenette along one wall.
I'm gonna scramble up onto that bunk bed and hang upside down. You know, because I'm quirky.
Uh-huh.
That was a very exhausted sound you just made, Storyteller.
Sorry, I might be a little too in character.
Uh-huh.
He will sit down in one of the chairs and watch you. So, what did you want to tell me?
So, we are on the search for a sword that you may be acquainted with.
You and everyone else in Concordia?
Yeah, but we're special.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to tell you because I'm currently unsupervised.
Well, this is certainly a strange situation for us to be in.
Basically, I am trying to get as much information about this investigation as I possibly can because I think we might be the only ones to be able to stop anything bad from happening because I think I'm the chosen one. Of a few.
Okay, hold on. Back up. Say all of that again, but slower. Not that slowly, just at a normal pace.
I need to know everything that you can tell me about this investigation because I think we might be the only ones who are able to stop horrible things from happening because I think I am the chosen one, and so is my group of friends.
So not so much the chosen one as the chosen few?
I mean, I could still be a chosen one for like a different thing, but that's my, my main character syndrome.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Except right now I'm kind of in training to be like a main character. So I'm like the sidekick. And to emphasize my point, I do a little kicky with my leg and I almost topple off of the bunk bed.
Please don't break your neck.
No promises.
I have heard stories about your motley mate Crook, and I would hate to have to kill him.
Ah, that's fair. But okay, yeah, no, he would still blame you.
Yes, as I said, I have heard stories.
But yes. And then Elodie does like sit up and straighten out and look them in the eye.
Elodie.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I know things. However, I don't know you. And I don't know what's gotten it into your head that you and your motley are somehow chosen. And that makes me wary of telling you anything.
It's because I'm so good at keeping secrets that I can't tell you because I don't want to betray anyone's trust, or in case you're evil, I don't want to get murdered. Smile.
Did you just tell me to smile?
No, that was Hannah saying that she just does a little smile.
Okay. It's like, wait, what?
You know that clip from like the birdie where it's like, God tells me to gut all men and leave their entrails in the streets, and then she just does that little smile.
Yes.
That's what Elodie's doing right now.
I can't just tell you things if I don't know. If I don't know that this is real. Is there any way that you could perhaps go and get other members of your motley who could be a little bit more discerning about what you can and cannot tell me, and then we'll have an information sharing session?
There's a secret that I can tell you just as like collateral, because it's mine.
If it has nothing to do with everything that is going on, I am not going to be willing to make that trade.
It kind of does.
Kind of is not reassuring.
I'm going to skip over and like gesture to let me whisper in his ear.
He will turn his head to let you.
I was one of Arthur's Knights of the Round Table.
I see.
Yeah, I'm kind of special.
I see. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
It has to do with Caliburn, who is Excalibur.
That is certainly a theory, but not a secret one.
I promise you can trust me. I just really want to help, and I think we're the only ones that can, and we're oh, I can't say that. I promised that I'd be more responsible with my words.
What little I
But
can...
also, I'm very silly and I'm goofy, but I'm not a stupid kid, and I need
Elodie,
I need you to trust me.
My unwillingness to share information on the death of the man that I was sworn to protect is not because I think you're stupid. It is because I suspect you are far smarter than you seem. And then he kind of blinks a little bit. That sounded like an insult, and it wasn't meant to be.
Ouch! You said that I seem stupid!
I just meant you seem silly and childlike, which is common for childlikes. but I don't think that you are as naive or silly as you come off. And that
No,
makes
I'm
me
not.
wary of sharing information.
What would convince you?
You could swear a vow.
Have I been briefed on what that means?
I think I would have briefed you on that. That seems like the responsible thing to do.
You've been briefed that vows are a big deal. And that one should only take them you should only agree to them if you are 100% certain that A, it is what you want to do, and B, you are willing to deal with whatever the potential like fallout is. Like, you take a vow, you are stuck with it until you fulfill it, unless you want bad things to happen.
I can promise that I would never intentionally mislead you.
Is there any chance that I see this conversation happening?
No, they are off in a
No,
room
we
on their
left.
own because Elodie just fucking bailed on you.
Oh, great.
You were talking to some sweet honey.
She was having a hard time.
Yeah, and you were being very nice to her. You're a very nice man.
Yeah, okay. I'll get out
I
of
am
the
very
scene.
excited for the moment. I am very excited for the moment that Rowan turns around to say something to Elodie and she's just gone.
Like a kid at the mall.
Yep.
But that hasn't happened yet.
Nope, it hasn't.
No, you're too busy being like a genuinely nice person. Meanwhile, I'm off doing my shit. Doing my middle school adventure novel shit. So what if what kind of vow do you need?
He draws a deep breath and kind of looks over at you. When I took my position as a guard, I made my vow to protect the High King. With my life. And I failed. In the event that the High King dies, it becomes incumbent upon me to find out who killed him and to see that he is avenged. Which is why I am disinclined to just hand over a bunch of information to someone who does not have who I do not have certainty has similar responsibilities and bonds holding them.
You want me to swear a vow to a dead king? Morbid.
I want you to swear that any pursuits in this investigation and endeavor of yours are will always be in the best interest of ensuring that the king is avenged, High King David's death is avenged, and that Concordia will see stability.
I can promise the second part. Because I didn't know High King David. And I don't know if I'm strong enough to fix whatever it was that killed him. You know?
Which is why I said to see that he is avenged, not necessarily to be the one doing it.
I think I have to roll something. I can't make this decision because Hannah knows what Hannah would do. But what would Elodie do? Because I am also impulsive. So let me, I think I gotta make a willpower roll.
Make a willpower roll. How hard do you think that this would be for Elodie?
I think that it would be extremely hard to resist. I think their instinct would be to rush to give them assurances. Because they are guileless. Like they're mischievous, they're not a little liar.
You also have the impatient flaw.
Yeah, I'm built for action, baby.
Let's say this is a willpower difficulty 9. Based on your own admittance that it would be extremely difficult.
No one get mad at me. I'm not metagaming. I'm being honest with myself. One success.
One success. So you have the option to hold yourself back. There is a little voice in the back of your head that sounds suspiciously like Rowan, and it's just like, oaths are a very big deal and could get you killed if you're not careful. And should only be undertaken when you are 100% certain that that's what you want and are willing to do.
Elodie stands up straight. I'll do it.
He looks a little surprised by that.
I want the truth, and I want the people I care about to be safe. And Victus did a lot for me when all this happened. Like, I gestured to myself broadly. I don't know. It's like you're already family to me, so I want to help you too.
He also stands up and looms over you at, like, taller than Crook. Tall.
Hair tuck.
Wow. All right.
That shit was funny.
That was hilarious. He puts a very like a large heavy hand on your shoulder, and your shoulder kind of disappears in his palm for a minute. You are certain. You understand what oaths mean.
I am certain. I do this of my free will because I want to work for the security of all changelings.
Then take my hand, Elodie Blight.
I take his hand.
He holds your hand like he's about to, like he's gonna shake it. And repeat after me.
After me.
He pauses for a minute and then smiles just a little bit. Out of character. The GM was not prepared to have to write an oath today, so we're just gonna wing it and hope that this turns out okay. If you give me a minute, I have to think about how I want to word this.
I was literally just gonna be like, bro, I swear, for realsies.
That's not how this works, unfortunately. Words are important. He's aware of that, and so he is pausing and kind of taking his time to form the oath in his head.
No, it's fine. I'm having flashbacks.
I and your name.
What?
I, your name.
I, Elodie Blight,
do swear my oath on the dreaming and the memory of High King David,
do swear my oath on the dreaming and on the memory of High King David,
that from henceforth until this oath is fulfilled,
that from henceforth and until this oath is fulfilled,
all actions I take in my pursuit of my quest will be to ensure that High King David's death is avenged,
that all actions I take will be in pursuit that High King David's death is avenged. I think I got all the words.
that's close enough. Hold on. BP's nose is itching. Hold on. I'm so sorry. This is a very serious moment, and my nose is just like, hey, we're going to sneeze right now.
Womp womp.
Okay, we're good. And to ensure the stability and future of Concordia.
And to ensure the stability and future of Concordia.
As you finish saying that, Elodie, you feel something around you. Not physically, it's in the air and it's in your soul. And it wraps itself around you. You can feel it starting at your heart and kind of branching out through your body. The air around you becomes thick with glamour. And heavy, almost oppressive with how strong it is. It's like that moment when you passed into the dreaming for the first time, where you were just completely overwhelmed by how much it was. That's what this feels like. And then you feel a weight on your shoulders that is not terribly unlike the mantle of the king that you took on in the dreaming, except that this somehow feels less physical and more permanent. You can almost imagine a lock fastening it into place. And at your core of cores, the deepest parts of you, you know, these are words that you cannot break without severe repercussions. And you may have just taken on something much, much bigger than you ever intended.
Is it done?
He removes his hand from yours, and the feel of glamour kind of dissipates around you, and it goes back to being that kind of powerful but ambient glamour that's always in the Parliament. It is done.
See, you should have believed me the first time.
No, I'm glad that you have taken the oath. Now I know that you can be trusted. And if you're not, you will be punished.
I'm just going to keep the thoughts on that to myself.
Sit.
Oh, you told me what to do, and now I don't want to do it, but I'm going to sit down, but not in a chair. I'm going to sit on the ground because I'm still obstinate.
He doesn't seem bothered. It was mostly about getting you stationary. He sits back down in his chair. All right. Here is what I know. I know that I'm the one who found his body. I know that he was lying in a pool of his own blood, and it was shaped like... And he kind of pauses for a minute, like he's trying to think of how to describe it. It was not just a pool. It wasn't a blob like one would expect.
What did it look like?
Hold on. I have written out the thing very specifically, and I just
Oh, I
really-
thought you were pausing for dramatic effect.
I was, but I was also looking for the very specific way that I described it because it's it. The pool of his blood that was around him was shaped vaguely. I could be wrong. There have been people who have disagreed with me, but it looked a bit like a dragon. Or at least a dragon's wings. Caliburn was gone.
Oh.
We didn't find the weapon, but we are reasonably certain after someone has investigated the wounds that they were done with, that they were inflicted by cold. And that there were multiple of them.
Do I remember there was a little bit about a dragon in a vision?
There have been dragons in some of the visions that you've heard about, yes.
Oh no, she says aloud.
I can also tell you that some of the soothsayers and, well, not soothsayers, some of the sorcerers we have brought in to investigate the crime scene used soothsay as an art, and none of them could tell who did it. There was some sort of measure taken to hide their faces.
You need to get me to this room. No, not me. You need to get Sigrun to this room.
Why?
Because you know what? Fuck it. I can trust you. Well, at least with my secret. It's not really a secret. I found out that there's stuff that I can do that no one else could do. Like it's a normal art, but no one else could fix something and I could fix it. Just a little bit.
What were you trying to fix?
A person.
What art?
Spring.
I don't think spring's going to help you.
No, but Sigrun knows how to see all the things.
Sigrun is a soothsayer. An oracle.
And she's the most powerful one that I know. Trust me. When I said that we're the chosen ones, I wasn't being facetious.
I believe you. That's harder than you might think it is, getting you there. He didn't die here.
We can do hard things.
He kind of sighs a little bit and pinches his nose. He died.
You cannot stop my unswaying optimism.
I can see that. What I'm telling you is that he died somewhere secret. And I don't have the ability to just walk people in there.
Must we do quests?
No.
Prove ourselves noble? Save a fair maiden, perhaps? Oh, wait, we already did that.
No, it's more, what's the word? It is a location that has been kept secret because it was a place where the High King frequently was. Very, very few people even know it exists. I can't just walk a motley of random people into it. We'd probably all be killed for doing it.
Good thing I'm your trusted squire, huh?
Wait, did you say that you saved a fair maiden?
What?
You heard me. Did
I
you
just
say that
stare
you,
at him.
that you saved a maiden?
Huh?
Never mind. Probably not that important anyway.
It might. No. Yeah, no. We'll wait until the others get here. Oh, wait, they don't know where I am. Oh, I ran away again. Whoops.
He gives another long, slow sigh.
It's really hard to remember that you're supposed to be under supervision when you're 22 years old.
I believe you.
But I'm your squire now, right?
No, you are not my
I'm in
squire.
training to be a knight?
No.
Yeah.
If you help to avenge the High King, perhaps someone will knight you, but I don't have that power.
But, like, you're going to train me to be, like, noble and shit, right? Like a paladin.
No, you are already under someone's training. And my understanding is that you have a knight in your motley.
I can have a lot. I can have a lot of teachers. You're stuck with me. Just accept it. We're best friends now. You and the worm, best friends.
What?
Yeah. Okay, let's go find them. Come
What worm?
on. Right. And I keep walking.
He follows you looking like little pieces of his soul are falling off and dying with every
My
step.
goal when meeting new people is to make them think that they've accidentally been drugged.
Accidentally seems like a stretch. He might think he's been drugged on purpose at this point.
He's lucky I'm not insisting that we hold hands.
All right. Well, you... Oh, well, actually, we're going to pause that because we have to have a moment. Rowan,
Yeah.
you finish talking to Carrie Ann,
Yes.
and you turn to let Elodie know, okay, I've done what I need to do. Let's go find Vigdis, and she is gone.
Oh, dear. I turn to... Oh, right. My, Carrie Ann has already gone off, hasn't she?
She has.
Is there anyone else around?
Sigrun, did we get to you yet?
We have not.
Oh, well, no, there isn't. And I need to deal with Sigrun. I'm sorry. One moment. Pivoting.
Totally fine.
Pivoting. Sigrun,
Yes.
what were you doing?
I guess I was hunting for the fellow goths.
Ah, yes, off on a quest for your fellow gothlings. Got it.
My cousins.
So you find your way back to the archives is where most of this, like, you see the occasional odd slua here and there, like out doing other things, but like most slua, they're not thrilled about the amount of people, they're not thrilled about the amount of light, so you only catch glimpses of most of them until you get to the archives. And then you find a number of them kind of spread throughout the archives. Most of them in like the darkest, most quiet corners.
Kind of similar to the question that Rowan had. Are there any that are familiar to her?
Yeah, most of them. I mean, you're an archivist, and you've come here a number of times, so yeah. At least 2 or 3 of the ones that you can see here are ones who actually work in the archives.
Mm-hmm.
Others look like they are here looking for specific books, maybe scrolls. One of them is like at a table in like one of the backmost corners with all the lights turned down low. Like there's a candle next to them that's just out,
Mm-hmm.
and they are reading.
Okay, how do I want to go about this? Okay, she's going to she's going to approach the ones that are who work in the archives first.
Mm-hmm.
And well, back in character.
Greetings, cousins. Apologies for disturbing your solitude, but a query, if you don't mind.
You said you're going up to one of the ones who works here?
Yes.
Okay. You know that the young woman that you are walking up to is named Asal. She is she is I mean, first Lua, a lovely woman with kind of too thin skin that's so pale, so thin it's almost see-through. And long, like, pitch black hair that comes like down past her hips.
Fellow bog witch, got it.
She looks a little bit like what you would imagine a banshee from like old lore, old like myth and lore would look like. And she kind of turns these like kind of like big dark kind of liquidy eyes on you. Sigrun, what can I do for you?
Yes. I was in the archives earlier, and I happened to strike up a conversation with one of the bookworms. I was meandering on the thoughts of the prophecy that happened a little bit ago, and mentioned that she heard a fellow Slua speaking on it as well, but could not quite remember who she was, but she had white eyes. I have been trying to piece together some things just for archival sake, and I wanted to pick the brains of the Slua. Do you happen to maybe know of someone who came by recently, especially on the day of the prophecy?
There were a great many people in and out on the day of the prophecy. There was a large debate. There were a number of large debates happening that day.
But any of them, one of us with the eyes of white?
I'm gonna have somebody roll something for me. I would like. Let's go with Rob. Rob, would you please roll me 8 d10s at difficulty 8, please?
Certainly.
You were rolling for the NPC, so that I know that it's not getting stuck with my very weird, very not great luck that I've had lately with dice rolls.
I mean, if you're asking me, you might as well just assign it one success, right?
Just do it.
Okay.
One success. Hey, listen, at a difficulty 8, it was highly unlikely you'd get any, so...
Fair.
I don't remember anybody fitting that description on that day. But I do remember someone vaguely like that a few days later. But it's strange. I know I spoke to her, but I can't remember what we talked about.
Interesting.
How did I not realize that I didn't remember?
That seems to be very interesting. Actually, now that I think about it, you know of my motley fellow motley member Rowan, and how he tends to write stories that help guide us along the way of our chrysalis. And he takes inspiration. He was asking me about how to best word this. If there are potential cantrips or magics that we are able to do, us as a general whole, that is able to blur the memory, so to speak.
Of others like us?
Of just, changelings as a whole. I don't quite recall if Salus are able to do anything that specific, and you know me, my specialties are in divination.
The The one that is most obvious. I don't know of anything specifically that is necessarily intended to muddle with memories, though if one is adept enough at Chronos, they have the ability to alter one's perception of time.
Mm. Do you happen to know of this particular type of craft? Or where I can look into it further? I don't like to keep your time.
Chronos is one of the noble arts. It's more commoners have it now, but it's rare. Powerful. Something that they was once very jealously guarded.
Do you happen to know,
Me, Ava's trying to figure out the word of this. It's not clan. What's the
House?
not
Kith?
Kith? Yes, Kith. Thank you. Blank on the word.
Was it guarded by a specific kith or house?
The she, obviously.
Oh, foolish me.
Out of character, Sigrun would absolutely know that the noble arts were used to be the sole purview of the she.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I think that does clear up a couple of things. I thank you so much, Asal. Is there anything that I could help you with right now? I took up so much of your time.
Help with? No, not really. But I'm here most of the time if you need to ask any more questions or you remember anything.
Of course. If you are able to, if you happen to hear of anyone asking around, let them know that I was trying to find the white-eyed Slua. Like I said, you know me, I like to document the divinations that happen, and I think her assistance would be greatly appreciated.
I will do what I can.
Thank you.
And she also gives another thank you to the archives before she ends up leaving.
The archives do their typical, for you, the equivalent of a Slua warm fuzzy feeling.
Mm.
As you are on your way out. Okay, now everybody can collect back in the main hall, except for Elodie, who is still weirdly missing, as everybody kind of reconvenes.
Wasn't Elodie with you, Rowan?
She was. I turned my head for just a moment, and then she was gone.
We really
That
need
was
to
your
put a
first
bell
mistake.
on her.
We should go and find her.
Well, she said that she wanted to find Victus. Where are they located? Maybe that can help with that.
Did I see Victus on the way in?
You did not. In fact, you have pointedly not seen her as you have gone about your business for the day. You guys spend a couple of minutes kind of looking around like the main hall and like the immediate hallways off of it before you guys get to watch as Elodie walks in. You could tell that her fingers are itching to hold the hand of this huge troll that is walking beside her, and he has the most long-suffering, tired look on his face. He has the look that everybody who doesn't know Elodie has that after their first like long meeting with Elodie.
Confused, delighted, and very tired.
There's just a terrified voice in the back of his head that sounds suspiciously like Elodie that's going, "This is your life now."
You are going to be friends with me. Like I said, Luffy for One Piece, just aggressive friendship.
Does Rowan know Victus's brother's name?
No, I don't think you've ever met him before.
Do I know that this is Victus's brother?
You do.
Okay.
And I'm definitely not avoiding saying his name because I can't find it in my notes, even though I know I wrote it down at some point.
No, like I didn't even introduce myself
totally
to him.
Fine. Yeah.
He knows who you are, though.
Yeah.
I just don't know his name, and honestly, I haven't asked.
I will approach it. Do I have a sense of what his rank might be?
He's a knight.
Okay.
You know from reputation that he's one of High King David's basically one of the like High King family's royal guard.
I will walk up and I will say, I apologize, sir, for not keeping track of Elodie. I turned for one moment and I guess she was just impressed by you and wanted to introduce herself.
I'm 22.
Yes, Elodie, but there are rules about people who you can approach in court and who you can't necessarily just go up to and accost.
I didn't accost him. I said, "Hey, I know your sister."
It's fine. There are a large number of guards here right now.
Elodie, are you going to introduce your new friend? Friend?
Yeah, this is my friend. This is Victus's brother. He hasn't told me his name, and I felt like that might be intruding.
Fair enough.
But he already knew me. I'm famous.
Sure. Apologies, sir.
Just catching strays.
Hopefully you weren't preoccupied for too long, sir.
I swear to God, I literally just said I'm struggling to find his name in my notes, and now you're just being a bitch about it.
What are we supposed to do?
We could just
call
talk
him
around it
Victus's
while I'm trying to make sure that we're consistent.
I'll reword it.
Elodie, were you able to find Victus?
Victus isn't here today. Victus is home, but I found our friend, and now I think that we all have some stuff to talk about, but you're not allowed to ask me any questions.
Hold
Why?
on. What?
You're not allowed to ask me questions, but you can ask him questions.
Why can't we ask you questions?
Because I would like you to respect my privacy.
I put a hand up and I say, sir, while you were conversing with Elodie, was there anything that might have given her some impression that she can't answer questions.
He kind of eyes her like he's trying to puzzle out what her reasoning for things is. And then he looks back at you. Am I supposed to understand why she does anything?
Honestly, it's best if you try not to.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma, and then somewhere milk spills.
Nice reference.
Do I get the impression from Elodie's body language and manner of speaking that she might be trying to cover something up?
I feel like if you haven't gotten that impression, you don't know Elodie very well.
I'll tell you right now, Elodie is incredibly proud of herself. She is like the cat that ate the canary.
And that's
Right.
the thing that's concerning.
Should we roll for
Okay.
this? You don't need to roll. You can tell that something is going on.
Elodie is profusing this fucking energy right now. She is not good at hiding things.
This knight looks so confused by just all of it. Like he clearly knows that something is going on, but he seems a little confused as to what.
Rowan will say, I think we've taken enough of this poor knight's time.
No.
Thank you for
No. We need to go to the
Elodie.
room. We need to go to the room.
Told you I can't take you to that room.
We were negotiating that.
We were not negotiating. I told you I don't.
We were 100% negotiating that. The discussion wasn't over, so we're still negotiating.
Is
Which
there
room?
anybody other than us?
You guys are
in
literally
this
in
room?
the lobby. Yes, there are people around.
Yep.
And that's why I
Okay.
didn't say anything explicitly.
Let's go somewhere a bit more private, shall we? If that is suitable to you, Sir Knight.
He gives another long-suffering look and turns and leads you back to the room where he was talking to Elodie.
This poor man.
I thought we were leaving.
The entire time, Rowan is just apologizing up and down to Vigdis's brother for this as they
Honestly,
retreat to the room.
every time he apologizes, Elodie gets a little more frustrated.
Mm.
She gets grumpier and grumpier until she's a little grumpy umpy umpkins. And that's for true.
Oh my god.
And once we're in the room, Rowan will say, what room are we referring to?
He looks at Elodie. Well, go on.
I told you I can't. It's the room where the High King was tragically murdered.
Okay.
And I'm trying to convince him to take us there because I think that you, and I point at Sigrun, with your super amazing chosen person soothsaying powers, will be able to see more than other soothsayers would be able to that they brought in because they're all chumps. No offense.
Well, why were the soothsayers not able to perceive?
Because they're chumps.
I need more specific reason.
Their arts worked. They just couldn't make out any details on the people who did it.
This is becoming a trend. Interesting.
Remember what I did at the house? I was able to do something that no one else could do. It's because we're magically special. The dreaming chose us. We're amazing.
Yes, but you also remember what I was able to do at the house, and that there was a concerning thing about things were blurred. And if events that happened with the High King happened to have been blurred, and then what we also found out that the archives seem to have been blurred, there may be a reason why they were not able to perceive even with the magics working.
What were you trying to look at that was blurred?
A friend of ours had what's the best way to put it? Something happened to a friend of ours, and we were trying to get information as to what happened. We were able to perceive the action done to them, but not the people.
Could we all just share all of our information and stop the doublespeak and trust each other? Because I'm honest, I'm gonna blurt something eventually, and it's gonna be real bad.
I'm sorry, Dee Dee. Sir Knight,
Yes.
you were the king's personal guard, yes?
I was a member of the king's personal guard. Yes.
And in doing so, you were forced to swear a fealty
I
to
took
him
my
and-
oaths. Yes.
Yes, okay. So, by that logic, I would assume that he is not conspiring against High King David. Yes? And
I
Georgie would look
literally
at the rest of the party.
I literally could not.
Great, wonderful. So we are all on the same side then.
Is everyone in agreement with that statement? Rowan says as he looks around the room, particularly in Crook's direction, since he hasn't really spoken.
Sure.
The moment I get the slightest hint of approval from everyone, Elodie blurts out, "We saved my friend Kiera!"
Kiera.
Lord Rhodes' daughter.
Lady Kiera.
Yeah, you said that it might be important, and I didn't know if I was allowed to tell you until we could all trust you, but it might be important.
Well, if we're mentioning Kiera, it was the Lord Rhodes that was attacked while we were trying to look for Kiera, the Lady Kiera.
I see.
Her mom hugged
Backing
me. It
up.
was weird.
Backing up to do the whole thing. A group of shadow figures appeared in our freehold, fought us, kidnapped Kiera. We went to the dreaming to find her. We did find her on a bier, but it appears that her emotions have been muted or stolen or something.
She says something's been taken from her, but she can't articulate what.
It was also found out that the Lord Rhodes, who was with us as we were about to go into the dreaming, disappeared, and it was found out that he was attacked by a group of individuals. While he was able to defend himself for some time, he was taken down and was gravely injured, and his weapon has disappeared.
I see.
See, I told you we were important.
Oh, in regards to what Magda spoke to you two about before, I went back to the archive to speak to some of the Salua there. It seems that at least for one of them who worked at the archive, she spoke with the white-eyed Salua and doesn't seem to remember any fine details of that. But she suspects that any magic dealing with the muddling of memories seems to deal with the Chronos magics.
She said she
And
wasn't
that is-
sure of an art that specifically is meant to muddle with memory, but if any of them could do it, it's Chronos.
It's Chronos. And that seems to happen to be a magic that she used to be very protective of, and who was wandering with a white-eyed Salua, but a red-headed she. Just to catch up with that, at least, information.
Magda was the worm.
Yes.
I see.
I wanted to protect her identity, but I think I can trust you.
When I tell you that I cannot take you to where the High King was murdered, I mean it. On my oath, I cannot take you there.
Could you?
However,
Out of character. Okay.
he holds up a finger as you start to talk. I could mention that I have 3 shifts this week. Only 2 of them are here. 3 more shifts this week, and only 2 of them are here. The second one will not be here.
Well, I mean, when you're off work, like, if you want to talk more about it, you can come into the shop and get a coffee, but I don't know why we're talking about your work schedule.
He can't tell us specifically where this place is. But it seems that he may have a shift in a specific location he can't mention.
Yeah, so we can meet. Oh! I get it. I mean, what?
If I wanted to call on you while you were at work on your second shift, would I be able to?
No.
Georgie, I like him better than Carwell.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Who is Carwell?
Oh my god, don't even get me started. So this guy comes over to our house.
Elodie.
Not right now. Not right now, dear.
He looks very confused.
Don't worry about it.
It's nothing. It's just someone I'm seeing.
For now.
I can also tell you that if I were to see you during my second shift, I would be forced to apprehend you.
Understood.
Which would be bad for everyone. So don't do it.
Wink.
Well,
I'm going to do something stupid.
Anybody who wants to can make a perception and empathy check.
boy, howdy.
Difficulty?
6, just standard.
Clairvoyant won't do anything about this, right?
No.
Okay, making sure.
Would you listen your help?
No, because he's not really telling you anything. This is just what you see, like, going on with it, like, across. Jesus Christ, Georgie.
I'm really good at this.
Detail-oriented.
You only have 6 dice. You just rolled really fucking well.
I am also
really
very
hot.
good at this.
5!
Sorry.
I'm not hot, I'm adorable. And I stare at people with
It's
very unsettling green eyes.
It's perception and empathy, difficulty 6.
Detail-oriented.
Yes. I
Beautiful.
will give you that. Please get something other than a 1, Rob. Yay! That's
For my specialty, I wouldn't have gotten 1. I would have gotten 2.
You would have
Okay.
gotten 2. Very good. Okay.
Woo.
So we have a 5 from Georgie, a 4 from Elodie, a 2 from Crook, a 5 from Sigrun, and a 3 from Rowan. They're actually rolling well. It's a
Guys,
pity
we
that
all
this
have
isn't
social skills.
It's a pity that this isn't a really big, like, super important check. It was mostly just you guys can tell he is not accustomed to playing the politics and having to, like, think very carefully about the wordings of his vows so that he can work around them the best that he can. He is trying to help you, but it hurts.
We appreciate your efforts. Real quick, what information did you pass on to our beloved Elodie outside of the whole secrecy of the room?
He hesitates for a moment and glances at Elodie like he's looking for confirmation that you all are as trustworthy as she is, which is a weird thing for somebody who seems so vexed by her presence.
Elodie just nods once. and then looks at the others, and like she did with the Claricon the other day, or it wasn't the other day, it was today in game. The other day for me, it's a Claricon thing, don't worry about it.
He was lying in a pool of his own blood. I'm the one who found him. The blood was shaped vaguely, I think, like a dragon.
And I look at them with like my eyes wide and just, dragon? Huh?
Examination of the body. We are relatively certain that cold iron was used to murder him and that there were multiple weapons, or at least multiple wounds. We did not find any weapons.
He must have hurt so much when he went, Rowan says, looking down sadly.
His jaw kind of locks and his face goes incredibly stoic. Yes, I'm sure he did.
Storyteller, I have a clarifying question.
Yes, ma'am.
In regards to Lord Rhodes and his injuries, we know that they were both, what's the term?
Chimerical?
Chimerical and then
physical.
also real. Yeah, physical. And the extent of those wounds. Did we happen to know if they were also potentially iron?
You would know that they are not cold iron, because if they had been, he'd have died.
Oh, okay.
You also know that cold iron is very hard to get a hold of, and is like outlawed. You get caught with it, and you're a dead man walking.
Mm-hmm.
So not many people have it. Whoever did have it, assuming that the same group did both, they probably don't have enough to have had cold iron in both places.
Got it. Okay.
Interesting. Hi, King.
And likely put all of their cold iron in one place with the most important target, who was going to have the most people guarding him.
Exactly. Okay.
High King David, cold iron. And at the very least, that can be surmised he was the one of most importance. Lord Rhodes didn't seem to be evidence of cold iron. But his weapon was also presumably taken as well. And his damage was physical and chimerical.
You said you believe that Lady Kiera's emotions were taken from her?
Yes. There is a void within her.
Strange. That seems to visibly disturb him.
You made a face. What's the face for?
Anybody other than Elodie, and this is only because this is a very obscure bit of knowledge specifically about trolls. Anybody but Elodie can make an intelligence and Greymare roll.
Two successes.
4.
Hey, breaking out of the 1 cycle.
Yay.
Why are you sounding so sad that you broke it? You're breaking out of the 1 cycle. You've had 2 rolls in a row.
I'm not sad. I'm just
not excited about the fact that you didn't get a 1.
Well, I was thinking maybe you wanted way more successes than I got for.
You'll get something. You're not going to get a ton. You're not going to get as much as Sigrun.
Gotcha.
But you'll get something. Has everybody rolled?
Yes.
Yes, Crook is all the way at the top. I'm sorry. I was just like, I didn't see Crook roll. That's because the book is very fast. Okay. Georgie, you get nothing.
That's fine.
You're just like, huh, he seems really upset and bothered. That's weird. Crook, there is something specifically about the idea that emotions might be muddled with that seems to bother him in ways that, like, other people wouldn't, maybe not necessarily. Like, everybody is likely to be a little bit disturbed, but he seems like genuinely, deeply, like, not okay with that idea. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Rowan, you remember when you were new and meeting, I think you met Vigdis when you were new, like when you went through your chrysalis.
Absolutely. Yes.
You remember her mentioning something about bad things happening when she feels like she can't fulfill her duty, and that those bad things are usually a very like highly emotionally fraught time.
Right. Yes.
Sigrun, what you know is that trolls are kind of empowered by their duty and their oaths, and when they break their vows or are tricked into breaking their vows, it'll do things like send them into a rage. Trolls are very honor-bound, emotional people. Like, it's deeply important to their kith. So the idea of having someone take that from him is something that, like, shakes him to his core.
Mm.
You have the because you rolled so well, I'll just give you this instead of having you roll again to see if you can kind of put the puzzle pieces together. To some degree, there is a measure of linking your value and what makes you worthy or not worthy to the things that make you a person where trolls are concerned. So if you took somebody's emotions, you would fuck with their value and their ability to live up to something. Does that make sense, or do you need more? Do you need to be more blatant about it?
Could you, just in case?
It has been said multiple times that there are theories that the reason why Caliburn has gone missing is because there is nobody worthy of wielding it.
Oh no. I see. Oh dear. I think
That sounds cryptic and bad.
it is bad.
It is worth noting that you don't think he has put that together, but seeing that look on his face and seeing how bothered he is has certainly triggered a thought for you.
Sir Knight, I have a question, if you will. I'm not sure how likely you would be to know this. Have there been any disappearances since the prophecy, or a little bit before then, that you're aware of?
I hadn't thought there had been, but you just told me about one.
That may be something I don't know for certain, but I have seen and known a bit of troll nature, and I know how truly you all value your sense of honor and duty. And the face you made reminded me of something. That emotions help guide us in our morals. And if those are messed with or taken, that could also make it difficult to find people who are worthy of upholding a specific ideal.
Yeah.
And if no one is able to uphold a specific ideal because their emotions have been taken, it stands to reason that's why you cannot find the sword.
His eyes go a little bit wide. Are you suggesting that Lady Kiera is the one who's meant to have the sword?
I don't know for certain, which is why I asked to see if there's been any other instances similar recently. But if she is the only one, and with the instance of how badly beaten her father was, just to ensure that she was not found, well, enough similarities and coincidences start to become fact.
He was standing, he is now sitting. Like hard. You guys hear the chair as he kind of plops into it groan under him in his armor.
Wow. This is all going very well, I think. Maybe reading the room wrong.
I am sorry for that sudden, just dramatic, potential revelation, theory, potential dramatic theory.
But isn't it better to, think these things out and have a general direction of where these things might go?
It's more than we've had so far.
But that also means we should probably put some extra protection on Kiera's house.
That also could explain why she has a similarity to the Lady of the Lake.
Why target Kiera, though? I mean, I know why metaphysically we are, because she's tied to the prophecy Lady of the Lake thing, but, how do the people who did that know?
Magic.
Georgie started pacing, which is weird for her.
But that's why she's always coming to the coffee shop, is where her Knights of the Round Table, she's Arthur.
How did they know she was Arthur?
How'd the Dreaming know she's Arthur? Weird magic, man. Couldn't imagine.
Hold. I need to Google real quick.
Says Sigrun.
I would like
This is Ava, sorry.
I would like Crook and Rowan to roll me what can I have you roll to substitute for a memory roll, since that's not really a thing in this system? Let's go wits and academics. No
Roll
specialties.
empathy for yourself.
No specialty, just wits and academics.
You got it.
Difficulty. Difficulty 5.
That's a 2 for me.
You said wits and academics?
Yes, no specialties. This is me trying to give you something that would work as a memory roll. Okay.
2 successes.
This is something that never occurred to either one of you. But as you are thinking about it, and the reason why I had you two roll specifically is that you two are the only ones that I could see having a feasible reason to have ever at least seen at a distance the High King. This could be entirely coincidental because it's not a perfect match. Kiera doesn't look far off in some ways from David Ardrey.
Wait a damn minute.
You don't know this. You hush.
This is Hannah. Hannah's
I got
reacting
there.
to the absolute drama.
I got there when you said see the High King.
Where the fuck is Maury when you need him?
Rowan says, now, don't get excited. He's going to say directly to Elodie.
Why are you saying that directly to me?
It could be my imagination, but there does seem to be...
Hold on. Before you say anything, I would like to know how Crook reacts, because Crook has been very quiet tonight. I'm so sorry.
Yes, of course.
Crook, at the moment, I'm going to wait for Rowan to speak, but at the moment, Crook is remaining very quiet and thoughtful.
Okay. Continue, Rowan. I'm sorry.
Rowan says, it may be my imagination. I didn't see the High King that many times. But there does seem to be a resemblance between Lady Kiera and High King David.
Not your imagination.
What do you mean?
No.
I mean precisely what I said.
It means that we may have discovered a potential reason why the Rhodeses are not too close.
Did we stumble into a reality TV show?
Oh my god.
Worse, you stumbled into Fey politics.
It's a telenovela.
Oh my god.
But we also need to remember that these individuals are dabbling in manipulations of what seems to be the memory and even time itself. It's
Oh my
possible.
god.
It's possible. Oh, you first.
I've been thinking about that. We listed out all the different houses that could be involved in this. One of them does kind of obsess over discerning patterns and breaking them down because they're not, because they gave up the ability to have real personal relationships with people. If anybody was going to suss out what needed to happen to set these events in motion, House Varix at the top of my list.
If the magics that are being used is Chronos in nature, and if they have a soothsayer with them, they could have broken down the prophecy faster than anyone else, or have their own individual vision that pointed to Kiera as well.
I would
She's a princess.
I would like all of you to roll me intelligence and academics, please.
Does art history apply to this?
No.
Does
Sorry.
history apply to this?
Intelligence and what? I'm so sorry.
Academics. We will say... Yeah, we'll say history applies.
1 success.
Medieval history?
Yes, medieval history.
I took
Kinda.
the worst history for this game.
You took the right history for you. It's
Ooh.
just this is a very specific story beat thing that we're rolling on. Well, Sigrun is so caught up in the moment that Sigrun gets nothing. That's a botch.
I was rolling good.
It's okay. All right, Crook, Georgie, Rowan. It occurs to all of you that this isn't necessarily where the that if this theory is true, and this is just a theory, you have no proof right now, and this would be a big thing to go in accusing Lady Rhodes of. If this theory is true, this is one more thing that Kiera would have in common with Arthur.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
What?
If the
I'm
theory
gonna
is
throw
correct,
myself in the river.
let's not do anything rash.
That's not a threat. You're a seal.
No, I need to calm
Oh.
down.
Right. If this is all true and we really need more proof than just a resemblance, because, a lot could explain that. This is one more thing that Lady Kiera has in common with King Arthur.
Is this a bad time to tell you that you guys have been talking about Arthur this whole time and I have no idea about Arthur?
King, sword, stone. Where you have
Well, yeah,
memories of
I
being
know
hit
I know
with a
that
handle?
bit. I know that bit. I don't know the thing.
There's a lot. And it changes a lot based on who's telling it.
It's also worth noting that Georgie may have stopped pacing, but the second Georgie stopped pacing, it's like he couldn't handle the stillness in the room, so now the knight is up and pacing.
I'm gonna trade off.
I just look at Georgie. You guys have a lot in common.
Elodie.
What? He's cute.
Sir Knight,
Yes.
who's in charge of the investigation into the murder?
He opens his mouth like he's going to tell you, and then he stops.
Can
And-
you tell me?
No.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I can't.
I
No, you
understand.
can't. That's
Are you sworn to secrecy?
And he just stares at you, like even that he can't say.
Okay.
who else is in your unit?
There are a number of us. It would be too many to name. But it's not someone from my unit. We're just guards, not investigators.
Of course. And in your capacity as guard, you are, and you're not investigating this, but let's say you did come across information that was important to the investigation. Who would you, we would be able to report that, wouldn't you?
I would. Yes.
But you couldn't tell us who you were reporting it to.
No.
Could you tell us when you usually report?
No.
I see.
I'm sorry.
No, I understand that it's important to you and duty.
He looks
I have a question.
he looks almost physically pained. What's your question?
My question is, were you just sworn to King David or to, like, the crown more abstractly?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, maybe if you have, like, a little time, when you're not like on your shift. Maybe you could swing by the Rhodes' house. I don't know, just to hang out and check on things and make sure that there's certain things that would wear a crown are okay and still attached to someone's body. Maybe.
That seems to redouble the stress because now he's pacing again.
Oh no, oh no, oh no.
Oh dear.
Georgie,
What?
fix him.
What? First of all, what? Hold on.
Fix him.
I can fix it. No.
Yeah, exactly. That's your thing.
No, it's definitely not.
And then they get worse.
I'm gonna throw. Claire's gonna walk into the sea. Actually, though, Georgie has been writing on a piece of paper when Elodie says that and stops and is, Elodie, don't make this weird.
How am I making it weird? You think Clarence is gonna get mad?
His name is Carter. Stop it.
That's what I was thinking. I thought his name was Carter.
Who?
Oh, she's doing it on purpose.
Yeah. Okay, now that Elodie's made this weird, if we think of something, or if you do, here, and Georgie will hand the knight a piece of paper with her phone number on it.
I win.
He will take it, glance at it, and while Elodie absolutely has thoughts about I'm gonna hook these two up, he does not seem to have any of those thoughts. He just sort of gives a very like stiff official nod, folds it up and tucks it into his armor.
Sir Knight, I have a question, if you will. This is more so just like a side question.
Yes.
Has your family does your family serve the crown, the High King, or is it just you and your sister?
Just Victus and I. We are told it is rare for siblings to be reborn in the same mortal family, but we were.
She's gonna just like look and just remember the dreaming and seeing the troll that looked like Victus that she heard the last words of is like, I swear to God, if that's actually him.
Huh. Interesting. Did you fight a giant in your last life or recently? Out of curiosity.
I have not fought a giant in this life.
But in a previous.
I don't know.
See, I told you, she says cryptic stuff because she's the best. She knows everything.
That's also how they broke my arm, but...
She's not so strong, but she's the best.
He looks very confused.
All is to say, I highly respect your duty-boundness to your cause, and thank you for doing what you can to assist. I know it must be painful.
He'll nod. I should get back to my shift.
I'll visit you later.
Good.
Thank you.
I don't know if either of that sounded like a threat.
He nods. Elodie, perception and empathy, please. Nope. Okay.
That's a botch.
He leaves the room.
Damn.
I think he likes me.
You do. You really, really, really think he deeply enjoys your presence.
We're best friends.
He's
We're gonna go-
absolutely heartbroken that he's leaving.
We're gonna go to the movies together, and he's gonna have a big old bag so we can hide all of our snacks in there because movie theater snacks are expensive.
You know, I could just give you some money to buy. No. Why are we talking about doing this?
Because he's my friend, and I gotta be able to third wheel on his dates with Georgie.
What?
I
What?
think we spent enough. I think we spent enough time at Parliament today, don't you?
Yes.
I quite agree.
I like you here.
Do you think we should try to check on Kiera? I know it's recent, so probably make me a phone call, but
Maybe on the drive home.
I was thinking of
Yes.
heading over to try healing again for her dad, but you guys can head home and I'll meet you there.
I don't like this.
You guys might think you need to watch me, and I look at Rowan and think that you need to apologize for me. But I can
Elodie,
handle
it is
myself.
literally my job to watch you, and I failed in that. Prying eyes
It's-
will use that against me. And you.
It's not the fact I don't trust you to take care of yourself, Elodie. I'm saying the situation as a whole. There's something very dark here, and the pieces that we do not know truly, it concerns me deeply.
Well, the sooner we can get Lord Rhodes awake and talking, the sooner we can get some answers. Not supposition. If someone wants to come with me, they can.
And I think that's where we're going to leave it for the night. Thank you for listening to District of Dreams, a Changeling the Dreaming actual play by Hallowed Haven Studios. Storytelling for this actual play was provided by Bloodied Porcelain. Sir Crook is played by Bookkeeper. Elodie Blight is played by Hannah Marie. Sigrun Spellman is played by Madame Ava. Rowan Parsons is played by Rob Davies. Georgina Byrne is played by Clara Allison. Our intro music is by Michael Shynes. Our art is by Instagram.com/V is for Vampire. And our editing is by Virons.